You're listening to the Intuitive Souls podcast. I am your host, Sarah Caruso, and this podcast is designed to educate, inspire, and enlighten. Let's wake up together. Hey guys, and welcome to the show. If this is your first time listening, welcome. I am glad you made it here. I talk about everything under the spirituality umbrella, and today I'm actually going to be talking about my top 5 favorite spiritual books. And I get this question a lot, like, what is a book that I recommend when you're spiritually awakening? And honestly, I always say go with your intuition, but I decided to go with the top 5 books that have helped me open up to spirit and for me to see in a much more conscious way. So that is what we're going to be talking today. It is a solo show, and I'm really excited to be sharing this with you guys because these books that I'm going to talk about have really helped me, and not only have helped me, but I have recommended them to people and they were like, wow. So yes, I'm super pumped for this show. And also, I wanted to thank you guys again for all the amazing reviews on iTunes. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your busy lives to write a review. It just helps me that much more get this podcast out to the right people, the people that are drawn to this kind of stuff, that want to learn more about this stuff. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And if you haven't done so already, if you have a free minute when you're not chasing your kids around or, meditating or, buying all the crystals, please be sure to, just leave a review on Facebook not Facebook, iTunes. It lets me know that you guys are enjoying this podcast, and I really do appreciate you guys doing that. So today, what ones did I do? Okay, so every week I always choose an essential oil, a crystal, and I pull an oracle card for the week. And this week I decided for the essential oil, I wanted to, because it's March and because, if you're listening, you might be dealing with like, okay, let's get spring here already. We're still dealing with trying to stay grounded because it's still not, warm enough to go put our bare feet on the ground to earth. But hey, so today I'm all about grounding, right? So I decided to go with vetiver for the essential oil. And vetiver oil assists in becoming more rooted in life. Life can scatter one's energy and make individuals feel split because different priorities, people, and activities. Vetiver brings the individual back down to earth. It assists them in grounding to the physical world. Vetiver also assists individuals in deeply connecting with what they think and feel. In this way, vetiver is incredibly supportive in all kinds of self-awareness work. It helps uncover the root of an emotional issue. Very interesting. So vetiver is definitely one of my go-to essential oils. I started So if you use vetiver oil, it's really thick. Like, it's a really thick oil. It's almost like sap. It's like thick. So you need to dilute it with fractionated coconut oil or something. And what I started doing at night is I'll put like 1 or 2 drops with, a little, some fractionated coconut oil. I take a nice big whiff and then I'll rub it on my heart chakra and then add some of my pressure points. And I gotta tell you, like, it really helps me stay asleep because sometimes I have a problem staying asleep at night. Like, I'll wake up and it's hard for me to get back to bed. But when I remember to do this, I kind of sleep really well through the night. So I love vetiver oil, and it, like I said, it's super grounding, and right now I freaking need all the grounding that I can get because I'm waiting for spring. But with the grounding theme, I also chose aragonite for the crystal. And aragonite is a reliable earth healer and grounding stone. Attuned to the earth goddess, it encourages conservation and recycling. This stone transforms geopathic stress and clears blocked Li lines, even at a distance. With its ability, its center, and ground physical energies, it is useful in times of stress. Aragonite stabilizes the base, earth chakras, deepening connection with the earth. It gently takes you back into childhood or beyond to explore the past. Aragonite teaches patience and acceptance. It combats oversensitivity, good for people who push themselves too hard. It facilitates delegating. Its practical energy encourages discipline and reliability and develops a pragmatic approach to life. So as you can see, aragonite, and it's a really cool looking stone, by the way, guys, if you don't know what aragonite looks like. It's like, I have like a raw piece and it's like, it almost looks like coral. It's super cool and it's a really nice like amber color, but it can be like a white coral or like almost like a beige color, but definitely check out aragonite if you are looking for a grounding stone. So I pulled from the Work Your Light Oracle deck by Rebecca Campbell. I have to say this is like my favorite Oracle deck. The artwork is just, it's beautiful. So I pulled the Inner Temple card, and it's all about devotion, and it says to tune into the portal of your heart. You are being called to be a devoted student and tune into your heart, to incorporate true devotion into your life. You could be being called to develop a regular meditation habit, journaling, or a chanting practice, or to show up to your soul with rhythm, to develop a daily practice where you fill up your well and spend time with your soul. So, if my friend Alyssa is listening, because I know that she listens, maybe this might be for you and to start a daily meditation practice. Right? So take this as a sign, guys. Be connected with your soul. It's so important for me. One thing that I really, it's just super important to me is that I always spend time with my soul. Always, every single day. That is something that I will do. I make sure that I take time for meditation because if I don't have that connection, I feel a little lost. And some people do this in different ways. Like I said, a lot of people do Kundalini yoga. A lot of people will do, beautiful journaling. For me, I journal and, I'll do yoga from time to time when I'm feeling like I need to do yoga. But meditation is something that I do every single day, and that is how I connect to my soul. So think about something that you can do to connect to your soul. And what I mean by that is like, we have to connect to our souls, guys. We are souls, so we have to connect to them. Like, even if you feel the most connected taking a walk in nature, or if you feel connected taking a spiritual bath, do it. Do it. I'm telling you, you just feel so much better. So, today, like I said, I get so many questions about spiritual books and stuff, so I decided to make this episode for you guys so you guys can refer back to it if you're looking for a good read. And so let's go ahead and I'm just going to start. There are 5 books. There are so much more. I don't think you realize how many books are like honorable mentions. And I'll do another show about that because just there's so much. There's so many great books, but these are really the top 5 that opened my eyes, that helped me on my spiritual path, so I want to share them with you. So the first one is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Now, if you don't know who Eckhart Tolle is, he is an amazing human being. He is actually enlightened, and he is a well-known spiritual teacher. He has been on Oprah. He has not only this book, he also has a book called The New Earth. And The Power of Now, for me, was was what really got me into mindfulness and being in the present moment. He does a beautiful job just putting everything out there for you and just making you realize that the things that we stress over, the things that cause anxiety in our lives are stories. You know, our past is a story and our future is a story. And for us to sit here and worry about things that might happen in our future, it really can seem kind of crazy if you think about it. So, The Power of Now is an excellent, excellent one. I would say this is, if you are, wanting to be more mindful, if you want to really be in the present moment, if you are considering meditation, this is the book to start with. I read this book, but then I decided there's so much information in this book, guys, that this is one of those books where you'll read it and then you'll come back to it, and then you'll come back to it again, because the more you progress within your spiritual journey, the more you get out of the book, if that makes any sense. So you read it when you first read it when you start your path, and then come back to it 2 years later, and then come back to it, because the information makes much more sense while you progress onto your journey. So the first time I read it, and then the second time I listened to it on Audible, and that I got so much more out of it the second time, I got to tell you. But this is an excellent book. It's widely popular, so you shouldn't have a problem finding it. So the second book, and this one is the one that was aha moment. Every single chapter, I had an aha moment with this book. This is really, I would have to say, out of all of these 5 books, this is the one that was just this was it for me. This was the one that just completely shifted my consciousness, and that is Seat of the Soul by Gary Zukav. Now, I want to point out that this is a channeled book, and what that means is that when it's channeled, the information is just incredible. You can almost, when you're reading this, you can feel like this is coming from an outside source, something like a higher entity. So, with channeled books, you get so much information. You get so much information. And this one was I actually got this from Oprah. She's the one that she refers to this book a lot, believe it or not. And so when I read this, the first chapter, I was there's just so much information. I can't even, and I always say that when I refer this book to somebody, I say, just go a chapter a day, because, and always have a highlighter. I'm a big highlighter especially with spiritual books, because that's how I'm a visual learner. So I need to highlight, and I need to really soak in all the information that I'm getting. So this book, the first chapter I read, and I was what the what? There's just so much amazing content in this book. So when I do, refer this to someone, I always say, just do it a chapter, start with a chapter and then the next day go to another chapter, because it's not even just with this book, it's with any channeled book that I read. The information is so dense that you need time to digest it. But this was really my aha book, and to this day, this is the book. If you can only have one book, to learn about the soul and to open up to spirituality, I would say this is the book for you. So the third book is Journey of Souls by Michael Newton. So Michael Newton, I believe, was a hypnotist or a psychiatrist or something along those lines. I haven't, by the way, if I'm wrong, I apologize. I haven't read this book in a couple years, but this was another book. This book was good to show evidence of past lives, right? And the evolution of a soul. So he did, I believe it was a 20-year study where he recorded, obviously with permission, some of his patients. And while they were, under hypnosis, and what happened as, their lives progressed and eventually passed on and went, back to heaven and all of that stuff. And this is an excellent book to start if you're interested in like the evolution of a soul, or like the life of a soul, right? Like where we start, what happens before incarnation, what happens after, we pass away, and like the cycle of the soul. So this is a really good book if you're interested in that. Again, this is a well-known book. You shouldn't have any problem finding it. So number 4 is The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. Now, this one kind of like popped out of nowhere for me, honestly. Like I was like, I never heard of him before, but it like popped into like a recommendation or something. So I just ordered it, and he does a beautiful job. Just his writing is just beautiful. I really like how he examined, what a soul is, and how to, he just did, I can't explain, like, it's basically just all about your soul. And he does a beautiful job explaining things and giving different perspectives. He was actually interviewed by Oprah. I listened to his interview. He's just like, even his energy was like very calming and just like low key. And it's a really great book to have in your arsenal. So yeah, that is number 4. And then this one, okay. Number 5, I wouldn't consider this a spiritual book. I would consider this more of something like, I think anyone who is interested in, diving deeper into reincarnation, learning more about it, learning, the concept of souls and, the ascended masters. This is definitely a book. I just feel like everyone should read this book, even the non-believers. This is Many Lives, Many Masters by Dr. Brian Weiss. This is also a very old book. It is, it's really old. But anyway, it's, if you haven't heard of it, it's an excellent, it's just, hold on, guys. I'm looking at a bird that's just looking at me through the window. Sorry about that. Got distracted. But anyway, this book, it examines, I don't say it examines, but it's just basically him and a patient of his, and their relationship, and how he used past life regression to help her with her traumas that she is dealing with in this life. And all the evidence that she brings forth is really unbelievable. And this is, Dr. Brian Weiss is a very, he was a very conservative, Yale educated doctor. So, very skeptical at first, but the more he worked with this client and the more regression that he did with her, he saw such a difference in her. And he saw how, healing these past traumas from past lives, how it affected her life today in a positive way. And I don't want to give too much away, but this is definitely, if you are into the whole past life thing, if you are, questioning it, this is definitely the book to start with. Again, you shouldn't have any problems finding this book. And I also do want to point out, so, I know how expensive being a book nerd is. Trust me. I mean, they're $15 a pop, and even if you get them on sale, it's like $10. So anyway, I always try to find a way to get books for much cheaper. So I actually stumbled across a website called thriftbooks.com, and it is absolutely amazing. So they offer free shipping for any order $10 or more, and most of the books are like no more than $4 a piece. So, you get 3 books for over $10, you get free shipping, and they're like, I've gotten books for like $2.50. So that is definitely, like I said, check them out. If you don't have a Kindle or whatever, and you are, like I said, you have a bit of a book obsession like me, I always, I'm not sponsoring this by any means. Like, if they want me to sponsor, I will gladly sponsor for them because they're absolutely amazing. But yeah, thriftbooks.com, and, sign up. And if you join their program, like if you're a, avid shopper with them, they will give you free books, and it's a really, really great site. So check them out. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And again, I will leave all of the books in the show notes, but if you are interested in purchasing them, always, definitely check out thriftbooks.com. I can't say enough nice things about them. And like I said, this is a used, there are some new books, but if you have no problem with, gently used books, it's such an awesome kick-ass site. So guys, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you guys next week.